Well, Jim already talked about the U.S. activity and how it's declining. I attended the World Oil Breakfast in the beginning of the year, where basically we had the three presenters, and World Oil basically said the global drilling, excluding the U.S., will rise about 0.3% in 2020. Um, obviously excluding the U.S., and we're talking about international, but nevertheless, if we talk about the industry as a whole, I mean, these are tendencies that are happening right now. I mean, obviously, we hit the perfect storm. The first storm is when Russia and Saudi got in a little contest about price wars, and then throw in the COVID-19. I mean, that's just as turbulent as you can get. So
it was a deadly virus.
Exactly. So we see the U.S. Activity to continue to decline, and obviously there's what's going to happen is that because the economic recession, because the demand reduction in demand, and obviously you see a lot of people not going to work. The highways are not as busy as they are, and they're going to be, and a lot of industry is going to slow down. Is therefore we kind of going to see kind of another lag in that regard. And what's going to happen is that all these operating companies, they're going to have to restructure and create what they call smart capex and discipline. As we know in the U.S. specifically, we're blessed with efficiency wasn't the big priority, not in terms of the drilling, but I'm talking about in terms of the capex allocation and whatnot. So we'll see a lot more efficiencies in the supply chain, as well as the cost measures that the company implementing. Somebody said that because of all these smaller operators, they say when the operating company is starting to get cold, OFS companies start getting pneumonia. So, you see how this trickles down to the effect to, you got operator, you got OFS companies, and the whole industry that is in, Houston. What happens is that it chokes the whole industry. And, it's definitely impacting everybody. Obviously, this is era of mergers and acquisitions and bankruptcies. What we see is that a lot of people that had smart capex, they're acquiring companies. Some are just going out of business. The word on the street is that some people saying that all these companies that are going bankrupt and they're on the books of the banks, basically, they're going to be opportunities that somebody have to manage those assets. So people getting some teams who's going to manage those assets. So that's maybe a niche market right now, where people can go into. Obviously, all the investors in New York is not sentimental towards oil and gas investing, and that definitely creates a kind of another obstacle, that relates to the whole industry itself, not just directional drilling. However, with all the negativity that's going on in the industry, it's hard to evaluate the future dynamics. I mean, like, we have a lot of veterans here that survived through many years, and it's been ups and downs. Yeah, things gonna change. I mean, Blaine hit it, got it right. I mean, they're gonna be a lot of AI. I mean, a lot of people going digital. I mean, you see, Anadarko and Oxy merging, and you see, the migration teams and all these, people that go on, on the cloud systems and, migrating and doing all kinds of digitization. You see even the smaller companies that used to have service in their companies going to cloud. I mean, people who are paying, $4,000, $5,000 to support their IT network. I mean, they're paying, 20 cents on the dollar to be on the cloud. I mean, you can see a lot of things, and obviously with the workforce as well, You see people that are retiring early that may not come back, people switching to another industries, but is there going to be opportunities for a younger generation? I think a big time. I mean, things going to change. I have a lot of friends that are in the IT industry that, and they kind of cross-pollinate with the oil field. I see some of the younger guys starting up as startup companies out of, a few of them from Rice University, like company like AI Driller, all this, automation design. I mean, things are definitely changing. And, the last thing is when I say hard time, evaluate the future dynamics, you never know what happens. I mean, we didn't know in the beginning of the year it was kind of all right. And then we had just 2 storms and kind of changed everything. And you never know. There's a lot of variables in geopolitical aspect of it. You never know what's going to happen to Middle East. We see people drilling now. A lot around the world, people going from drilling to workover, and the workover is somewhat busy. Some of the bigger projects are not stopping. I mean, some big projects like, take Russia, for example. Lukoil is drilling in Caspian, the Filanovsky project. I mean, it's not shutting down. I mean, it's Sverdrup in North Sea and Equinor, and Total is, still wants to play in Africa. Middle East is somewhat active. So is it? And like I said, the geopolitical aspect of it, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, and by geopolitical, I'm saying that I'm saying about, wars may happen, the price cuts may happen, production cuts may happen, then there's a lot of variables. So I don't want to speculate, but I think the industry is not going anywhere. I mean, we're going to be here for a pretty good ride. So we just hang on tight and everything's going to be all right.